Hello again to all subscribers and listeners of this channel. You're listening to Obsidian Radio, and today we shall go over Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 19, entitled The Basement. And this was another much calmer episode that picks up right after the emotional intensity of the previous episode. So in this we see Armin, the remainder of the scouting regimen, on top of Wall Maria, the wall where everything started. We see them, quote-unquote, celebrate their victory over the Beast Titans operation. We then see 4 of our 9 survivors finally make their way to Erens' basement, the place where the major secret about humanity has been kept for all these years. And so much was, well, actually, they just started to learn quite a bit about it towards the end of the episode. But let's dissect this episode as we learn more about the world of Attack on Titan and the world that goes outside the walls. Now, as far as my first thoughts were, wow. Episode 18 was intense, but it definitely looks like episode 19 is a bit of a cool down episode. An episode where we get to see Armin deal with this new situation. We see the scouts holding on as best as possible, and we see our main characters move forward in terms of discovering more about who they are, what they're doing, and what else they need to do in the face of all these situations. I thoroughly loved this episode and loved it takes place after a major conflict. In fact, the quieter, more thoughtful episodes are part of what makes Attack on Titan so well written. The fleshing of these things out is a really, really nice touch. Now let's get into the plot. As far as the episode itself, we immediately see a brief flashback of Bertolt's final transformation into the Colossal Titan. And then we see a half-formed face of the Colossal Titan looking directly forward. His right eye is crying. And we hear Bertolt's voice crying out saying, "It hurts so badly." Armin is woken up to this in what appears to be this dream state. He rises up and stares directly at the crying half-formed face of the Colossal Titan. Soon, Armin wakes up in real life to overhear Sasha saying, "It hurts so badly." Eren comes over to Armin and hugs him. Levi steps forward and urges Eren to tell Armin everything that happened when they fought against the Colossal Titan. Levi then shoots a green smoke signal to show that Armin is indeed alright. After Eren tells Armin what happened, Armin is left in shock, and by the time almost everyone else is surrounding him, trying to calm him down, as he regrets their decision. Yeah, he himself was not sure that they made the right choice, but he asks, "Why did you guys choose me over Commander Erwin?" Levi again urges Eren and Mikasa to tell the entire story of what happened, including their kind of half mutiny. After some more conversation, the remnants of the Scout Regiment accept that Armin is alive, Erwin is gone, and that they now must move forward with Armin being able to utilize his new abilities and the Colossal Titan. Right after Sasha tells everyone to shut up, Eren, Mikasa, Levi, and Hanji slowly make their way down into Shigashina District. They pass through so many different areas that were devastated by Reiner, Bertolt, and the Mindless Titans. They eventually find the opening to the basement, move some rubble out of the way, and open up the door. Levi kicks in the main door to get it open. After discovering that Eren's key doesn't work, once they're inside, they look everywhere for some clues, but they find only the basic doctor's equipment and information that you would expect to find. Until Mikasa finds a keyhole in a drawer, and Eren opens it with the key. In it are the books and a photograph of a family of 3. There's writing on the back of the photo, and Hanji reads the words of Eren's father, Grisha Jaeger, as he speaks of the world outside the walls, a world of humanity outside of Wall Maria. And with that, the episode closes. Very interesting things I noticed in this episode. Here's quite a few. I think I got up to like 9 of them. Interesting. I found 9 things that I thought were interesting. So let's go. 1. The colossal titan face at the very beginning of the episode. In the possible, it might be a dream sequence. It might be something else. I'm not sure. But it had only half a face. Half of the titan's face was being formed. As it had the organs and the muscle. And that was on the right side. The right side of the colossal titan's face was fully formed. Whereas the left side had no muscle, no facial tissue, and had no eye. So I wonder if there's something symbolic about the face being only half formed, while only the right side and not the left side. And it's also missing the nose. If I remember, Armin didn't have a nose when he had that mindless titan form, correct? So maybe this is what Titan's going to look like in the future. Just a guess. 2. When we hear Bertolt's voice say, "It hurts so badly," is that Bertolt saying that from another dimension where past holders of the Titan can speak to the current holders? And in this dimension, he's speaking to Armin? Is it Armin imagining hearing Bertolt's voice say this because deep down he knows that Bertolt wasn't really a bad person? And Armin's deep down inside of him feels very sorry, unconsciously, for what he had to do? Or was Armin unknowingly transferring Bertolt's voice over Sasha, who actually was saying it hurt so badly because she had a severe injury on her shoulder and arm? Who knows? I'd love to have a clarification on that, but probably not going to get a clarification on that very soon. Number 3. When Eren and Mikasa are going back towards their home, we see a flashback of Shigashina District superimposed over the current Shigashina District as they get closer and closer to the basement. Very good animation, very good editing here, in my opinion. Number 4. Little Mikasa and Eren are walking and running in almost the same position that the much older Eren and Mikasa are in while they're walking back to the place where all the madness began. Beautiful paralleling of the full circle. Number 5. It's interesting how Commander Erwin was completely correct by his assumption. Now I'm going to break this down very slowly, very closely. If all of humanity inside the walls knew what was going on the outside, why would the textbook say there's absolutely no human beings outside the walls? How can a statement like that be made when one would have to venture outside the walls, scan the area, and then make that presumption, and then come back and then write that down somehow, which would still be inadequate because they wouldn't be able to travel the entire planet with their level of sophistication and technology. So the idea should be at least inconclusive. The textbooks, if they want to be completely objective and make sense, the textbook should have said, we're not sure if there's any humans left outside the walls. So Erwin jumping to that conclusion actually made total sense, and he was right. There should be people outside the walls, and whether there was or there wasn't, you can't be absolutely sure if you've been inside the walls this entire time. So that was a slight slip up by the military, by the government, by the police, whoever was in charge of writing those textbooks. They slipped up by wording it that way. And Erwin was one of the few people that caught that. So good writing and good thinking of a very well-written character. Number 6. Because of the way Commander Erwin died, he, unlike most characters in Attack on Titan, can actually be buried. And I know there have been some people buried in like previous flashbacks or whatever, but I'm talking about from when the wall got kicked in by Bertolt all the way up to now. The vast majority of people that died can't even be buried because they either got burned, blown up, or eaten. So they actually can't have their bodies properly buried. Erwin's one of the few who actually could get actual proper burial, which is very interesting considering all the things that he did that people around him died for. Very interesting writing. Yeah. Number 7. Interesting how the 9 survivors of the Scout Regimen are 6 males and 3 females. I'm wondering if this has any connection to do with the original 9 Titans. Very interesting. So we have Eren, Armin, and Mikasa. Jean, Connie, and Sasha, Levi, Flock, and Hanji. And I'm like, there's definitely something about the number 9 in Attack on Titan that is very interesting, but I'm not sure what it is yet. Although I do understand that in Japan, I think 9 means completion, or has something to do with feeling like something has been completed or fulfilled. I think, but I'm not all the way sure. If anybody can clarify that, let me know. Number 8. Mikasa called Eren's father Mr. Jaeger instead of Dad, which I thought was very interesting wording that they decided to make her use in the flashback dialogue. And number 9. Eren and Reiner conducted their second battle right next to where Hannes and his garrison buddies used to drink a lot. If you pause the episode just at the right time and you look closely, you'll see the fountain that Eren and Reiner destroyed when Eren delivered that crystal fist into Reiner's face. Same exact fountain. Now, as far as the animation quality, I liked the animation. I thought the animation was incredibly good. The entire episode looks pretty much perfect to me, or near perfect. But then again, there's a lot less action in this episode than the last 6 episodes, but it still came out very smooth. There may have been maybe one small scene involving Hannes drinking that looked a little off, but to me it wasn't a big deal. Other than that, no complaints from me. Animation gets a 9.5 out of 10. The best thing about the episode, the absolute best thing, was just like the episode right after Reiner and Bertolt kidnapped Eren, and the episode leading up to Eren and Historia escape from the underground, this was a quieter episode that got us way more character and plot development. Beautiful to have this after all the action and intensity of episode 18 and episode 17, now I think about it. The absolute best about this really was the entire sequence from beginning to end of Eren and Mikasa walking through their old city, remembering different things about Shingashina district, reliving their childhood in their old neighborhood, and finally visiting their old home, as well as reliving the horror of having this entire area absolutely devastated by this war, the war against the Titans. Beautiful scenery, beautiful transition, great editing, great animation, great storytelling. As far as the worst about the episode, other than that slightly lower quality flashback scenes, there was really nothing bad about the episode. And the little bit that was there is hardly anything to complain about. As far as, there's just nothing to really complain about. The episode was, if not perfect, as close to perfect as could be in terms of from beginning to end, telling this awesome storyline of what these characters are going through in this particular part of the series. My absolute favorite scene for this episode was, again, the flash forward sequence of Eren and Mikasa, both their current selves and their former selves, their 15-year-old battle-hardened selves, and the 2 10-year-old or 9-year-old little kids who were still having fun and still enjoying their childhood. You see that paralleling of them going through that area, going through that part of their world, going through that part of this universe, understanding what's going on, reliving it, etc. The way that was done was just absolute awesome. The way it was made kind of translucent, very slowly shifting, fading from one to the other, filtering onto its current state from the previous pristine state, was such good animation and good editing that conveyed a weight of change and intensity in this sacred place. Yes, I think you can't consider Shingashina District a sacred place when you consider everything that's happened. This place that was ground zero for Eren and Mikasa's nightmare. The place that began the war for these last 5 years. As far as a 1 out of 10 score, or 1 to 10 score, I give this episode a 9.5. I almost want to give it a 10 out of 10. Pretty much a 10 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, somewhere around there. In terms of this episode, when it comes to everything, the music, the voice acting, the scenery, the animation, the cinematography, everything was just on point. Loved it. Overall, And also, I do want to point out, just another thing I noticed, that this episode did really focus on the three main characters again. What Armin was going through with his transformation, what he inherited, and what Eren and Mikasa went through when it came to going back through their own home, where it all started. Really diving deep into their psyche. Now, let's get into the overall summary. Overall, absolutely love this episode. And I love that this episode focused on how Armin is going to cope with being picked to stay alive, how he's going to cope with being the Colossal Titan, and what to do next with his new powers as he continues to be a member of the Scouts. It also showcased the emotional weight that Eren and Mikasa had to bear when returning to ground zero of where their torment first began. And the episode conveyed all this with subtlety, nuance, good editing, smooth animation, a really nice soundtrack, and beautiful flashback shots superimposed onto the current images of what their world looks like now. Absolutely amazing. Love this episode and the many others that are like it. That's all for now. Please like, subscribe, share, and donate to support this channel. You all have a nice day. I'm out. Peace.